Wow. So here we are with another episode 2 of What You Getting Into, the podcast. I'm Dion, and that was a great intro. I just thought of that.
Amazing. Should do more
Yeah.
impromptu.
Yeah, that's my whole life, impromptu. Came from, I seriously just came from a week in Florida. No social life there before I got there. So my boy who I was supposed to go visit, he was, sent somewhere else and I was like, "Bro, just give me the keys to your house and your vehicle." I was watching that man's dog. I assumed his life. Had a good time out there. It really helped. I saw it. I saw it. Everybody in Florida is just moving around doing whatever they want. The pandemic never happened in Florida. It was crazy.
How did your? I'm more impressed. How did your friend just decide? Here's the keys to my house, keys to my car. Just feed my pets for me. That's some other level of trust.
Yeah, man, I'm a trustworthy guy. You wouldn't trust me to live in your apartment in Denver for a while? You could live in my house while I'm gone. What would
I
you do?
mean,
What would I take from your house? I see some trinkets behind you. Like, do you think I would take those and leave the city?
I got some zebra cakes in my pantry, so you probably take those, and that's a deal breaker for me.
Man, you never would give me a zebra cake, and I don't think you ever will. Like, I don't even go down to Little Debbie aisle anymore, so you can have those. So the way to shop for groceries that's like healthy and stuff, you take the outskirts of the grocery store. So I only go in the aisles for like condiments, which are pretty low if you get the low calorie condiments. I went grocery shopping today actually, and like, yeah, I got a bunch of veggies. Veggies keep you right. And then I got some chicken, of course, some fish, and some condiments, baby.
Yeah, now that I think about it, I don't really go in the middle aisles either. I mean, it's really like random stuff like
Mustard.
oat, oatmeal,
You still eating
ranch.
oatmeal? I can't eat oatmeal. Like, I don't. I used to love it back in like seventh grade. Weird story, but back in seventh grade, I had a phase where instead of showers, I took baths. So every morning I'd eat oatmeal in the bathtub and out of my Tupperware. Anywho, yeah, I haven't eaten too much oatmeal in the last few years.
I just eat it like randomly. Just like if I know I got to do something somewhat physical later on in that day, get some oatmeal. It fills you up, gives you some energy.
What you got physical going on later?
Well, lately it's been nothing because I'm working from home now. So I literally
Hey,
wake up, put on my robe, go sit in my chair, and get to work.
how are you enjoying working from home? Because like that's the reason I had to like really get out the house and socialize in a different state and make friends in a different state. I saw some stuff, some things, and I impressed myself. But if I was over there, like I had to go out, I had to do something, or else I was just gonna be sitting in a random apartment in a random state. And honestly, Florida looks like the Midwest, so it's not as cool as everybody paints it out to be.
Well, I mean, that also depends, where in Florida. If you're in the Midland or even like the northern part, like yeah, it's not anything special. You
Yeah.
gotta you gotta be near the coast for sure.
I mean, I was near the coast. I was also like 50 miles from Alabama.
Yeah, man, you got to go further deep down. You got to get either towards the Gulf Coast or down towards Miami, Fort Lauderdale.
Nah, have you seen Miami, bro? Have you seen it like the videos and stuff from there?
Oh, dude, it was crazy. I would have loved to be there. I mean,
Oh, that just
probably
looks
wouldn't have stayed out as late as
disgusting.
those people.
That was that's how one of the clubs was in Florida. I went to Pensacola, Florida. And it's like a huge military town. Like it's the biggest military town I've ever been to. So like most of the people were military, but they had this club that was like seven clubs in one. And one they had this dance floor. Of course, that's where all the hippity hop is played and all the ratchetness was going down. And I was just like, bro, man, y'all doing the most out here. Just some dudes walk up, just like, hey, bro, my name's Sleepy. My name's Sleepy, bro. What you into? I'm just like, what? What are you saying, Sleepy? And then like he tried to, sell me things. I'm like, Sleepy, I don't need that. Sleepy went about his day, but that was the only place in that town that sold Hennessy. So I was excited about that. So every time I went in there, I got a couple Hennies and I swag surfed. I did Pooh Icy Back in Blood. We danced to that. It was a good time.
Yeah, you went to the bad part of Florida. I went vacation there. You got to go to where the spring breakers are at.
Spring breakers fighting in the street, twerking. It just looked like Miami
That's
has
the kind of
always
party I'm
sounded bad
talking
to
about.
me. Like it just doesn't sound good. It sounds like everybody goes out there with like no plan and no money. That's not a good vacation to me. At least like I want to have a couple ideas of what I want to do during the day and not just party at night when I go somewhere anymore. Of course, like when I was younger, that'd be a thing. But now it's like I'll go out, I'll go do something at night. But during the day, I want to see something. I saw dolphins in Florida. I fed a sloth.
You fed a sloth
I
in
did.
Florida?
I did. The zoo was like, it's this price to feed a sloth. And I was like, I do agree to those terms and conditions. I will feed that sloth.
Did you have to sign a waiver saying, I will
No.
not pet the sloth? I will not. If the sloth fucks me
Well,
up,
you
that's
pet
me.
them. They're like in a basket. I thought like you would get to hold them too, because like I mean, it cost me less to do the dolphin cruise for like 2 hours than it did to feed a sloth for 5 minutes. But I did to get to feed the male and the female sloth, and they were cute with them eyeballs just looking at you all slow. Anyway, like yeah, I thought you'd get to hold the sloth and stuff, but they just like had them in like this basket suspended up in the air, and you could like rub them from below, and then you boop them on the nose of the grape, and they eat the grape like. And that
You just
was
fed sloths grapes?
I fed some giraffes some leaves too. Saw some weird cows, but yeah, I just fed them. One day I had to do some tourist stuff, like get down to the beach, but it was different than what I thought it would be. So like I was like, yeah, this is a sleepy little town. I can survive here. I like it a lot. It's like smaller than Indianapolis. So like if you went there, you'd like this is Bodunk, but it looks like the town that was next to my town.
Yeah, I've never been to that part of Florida. I've been to Orlando a handful of times. Been to like Cocoa Beach. It's pretty
Orlando
cool.
was
Cocoa
lit.
Beach. Orlando is pretty lit. They got a lot of hospitality workers there, and apparently, once their shifts are done, man, it turns into a party town. So I was thinking of moving there actually before I moved out to Colorado, but the job market there is not as rich. So kind of was a turn off. I would just probably would have turned into a bum out there and fought an alligator because that's what Florida people do. They fight alligators.
Yeah, I saw some Florida stuff for real. So check this out. Check this story out. And I don't want to bust this man out, so I'm not going to use names or anything. If he happens to listen to this podcast, I'm sorry. I got to tell this story. But anywho, as we pulled up in Florida, my boy sent one of his friends to pick me up from the airport. So this guy picks me up. He has his girlfriend with him, and this other guy in the back seat. So the other guy in the back seat was like, add me on Snapchat. Then we went to this stupid pool hall bar. I looked around that pool hall bar for about 10 to 15 minutes, or like I started texting my boy, like, hey, where are the good places to go? Cause this is some nonsense. So he gave me spots to go. I leave. About a day or two later, that guy hits me up and he was like, hey, can I come over? I'm like, yeah. And then he tells me like the guy and his girl are hanging out. And he was just like, all right, I'm gonna be over here since they're going out and doing stuff. You wanna, drink a 12 pack of beer with me? I'm like, sure, boss. We could definitely get into that, I guess. I'm not really doing anything. I'm down to, just drink a couple brewskis with like a new guy and make some new friends. So this guy shows up, tells me, yeah, I have her location on. It seems like she's where she is. Uh do you want to go get food? And I was just like, I know where this one's going. He cracked that beer, drank about 35 sips of it. Like that beer was, it looked like my beer right now. And I've had like just one swig. That's all he drank. And then like we get in the car, we drive all the way down to where he said she was. And then he just looks by. We go into the food place, we walk out, and then we went to like Whataburger or something instead. And then we go back to the crib. He was just like, all right, I got homework to do and just dip. We never even drank those beers or anything like that. And from there, I realized this man is crazy. And then
You
as the
got
week went
homework to
on,
do. What
what?
was his homework?
I don't know. He didn't have any homework. This man was nuts, bro. So anyway, we found out I think within a day or two that his girl was cheating on him and stuff. So then like it became a crazy thing because then I feel like he told me about it, and then like he was like, so I let the air out of both of their tires. Like he did a lot of crazy stuff, and I was like, bro, what? You let the air out of their tires? Oh, it gets worse. It gets worse. Like he's probably still driving by this dude's apartment. Like 'cause he was doing that. He went back and vandalized it again over the next couple days. And then like every time I hung out with him, there was all this man was talking about. Do you think I'll get her back? Like no. Hell no, boy.
That
Like what is
motherfucker's
you on?
crazy. No
Yeah.
wonder she's cheating on him.
Yeah, he was crazy as hell. I was just like, bro, like, so like I took him to the mall, right? So I was like, bro, let's go get you some new fits. Let's just go out. Like, I go out, I'll show you just like how I do it.
So who is this guy again? Was this the guy you met?
Yeah, he picked me up from the airport, so I just met him that day. Or that week.
This is a crazy.
I just met him that week.
Couple days of knowing someone. My God.
No, that was the craziest week of my life because like this dude, like he'd be completely normal, you know, and then like he'd get a little bit sad, then he's like, I'm gonna go and just leave. And then like I'd be like, who are you calling, bro? And like he's like my aunt or something like that, or just whatever. So like one time he left me at the mall. Within 5 minutes, the dude walked out the mall and just left me. So I went and did my shopping and stuff. And I was like, all right, bro, where you at? He was like, I'm outside. So like I'm mad at this point. I'm like, bro, like you really just he was like, I'm gonna go make a call, and this dude just never comes back. So like I get out to the car and this dude's on the phone with this girl. And like, of course, like she's giving him one word responses and stuff, and he's just yelling stuff. And I'm just like, bro, hang up the phone. And then like he thought like I was like, you know, feeding into him. I'm no, like seriously, like this is awkward as hell. I'm not gonna drive in the car with you while you have this going on. So just hang up the phone. And then the end to the story that's kind of hilarious is the guy who added me on Snapchat who was in the backseat of the car. He was like, bro, that was hilarious when you told him to. He sent me a Snapchat. He was like, that was hilarious when you told him to hang up the phone. I'm like, dang, bro. You're really yelling at your ex-girl while the dude's still in the room with her. That's an L.
What? So the guy she was cheating on him with was like with him the whole time?
Yeah, so he found out she was cheating. He changed a lot, so because like, man, this is some crazy, just it's some craziness. So they met for the first time in November. Like, get this timeline down because it's mid-March. They met for the first time in November. She ghosted him for a month and a half to 2 months. And somehow when I get there in March, they're engaged.
Oh,
she's living with him. And I'm like, you know, I just get there, so I don't know the timeline of anything. But as the week went on, like I learned more and more details, and it's like, how did you put yourself in this situation, buddy? Like this is down astronomically bad. Like this is wow.
Yeah, I don't have words. That's pretty pitiful. Like that just sounds like a series of bad decisions have led him to that past weekend when you were in Florida, and you just watched it all unfold. So
yeah, man, it's just like some dudes have no relationship experience. So it's like, dude, there's a lot of things that can be taken as a learning lesson from this if you take them as a learning lesson. And one of them is do not go vandalize people's stuff. Because I was just like, all right, I can't even be mad at the dude anymore once you did that. Like, you know, I was like, that's dirty of him to do. And then like he told me that, I'm like, all right, behind the scenes, you're a crazy man, and that's why that girl wanted to get away from you. That's just what it is. Like you're a nut. Like you're a crazy ass dude. Come on.
yeah, man, I'm kind of scared now that you told him he might be listening to this. Now I'm scared for my fucking life. I might wake up tomorrow morning and my car might have no fucking air in the tires.
Yeah, man, he's after everybody's cars, bro. You better watch out.
All right, well, that's another reason I'm not going to go to that area in Florida. So I'll stick to the Orlando and everywhere south of there. I ain't going to Pensacola or wherever that. Or I'm avoiding the whole Panhandle altogether, as a matter of fact.
Yeah, I mean, I would probably. It was all right. It was cool. Like I met a lot of cool people. Saw a couple bar fights, of course. They always started over stupid stuff. at one point I was walking through that club place and some girl tried to grab me and she grabbed me around the waist like this, just like, and was holding on to me. So I just like went like this and kept walking. So of course she gets mad because they don't like to get rejected. So she like pushes me and like from behind, and I just kept walking. So I'm like, okay, whatever. Like I'm just gonna leave. And then like this guy was like, you bumped me, and I'm like, huh? So like I turned around and one of my friends was like, talking to him, but I went back to talk to him. So I'm like, that's stupid. So I was like, hey man, I didn't mean to bump you. You saw that girl push me. So like, what's the issue? And he was just like, say excuse me. Like I just said it, but all right, man, excuse me. Like I don't want to start in trouble. Just trying to walk away from this situation. So and then like he was just like expecting violence and everything so hard that like he shut down. It was hilarious. And it's like, man, you're a sad individual. His friend just like his friend was like, you're good, bro. I'm like, you're gonna jump me because I got pushed. Is that it? But like I just stood there like, and talked to him, and then like he just didn't know what to do. It's like, man, you really just came out. Like, why do you come out to the club to fight? Like you're just standing there on a dance floor mad. Like that's can't be
Some
me.
people
I have
should just
fun.
stay home. Like that reminds me of the time I was in downtown Indianapolis, and I was at Howl at the Moon, and there was some guy who was being, comforted by like two of his friends, and he was crying, like bawling, and I'm just like, dude, if you're like, stay home. Like, there's
Yeah,
no reason
man.
you need to go out and be moody and like ruin someone else's evening.
Yeah,
So
that
I
was
don't know.
old stabby tire boy too. Just like every time like I saw that dude pull his phone out, I was like, oh, here we go again. He's gonna do something. Then like he just kept talking about it. Like, man, like I empathize with you. I've been there before. I've been down bad before, but I'm not trying to see you crying in the club right now. Like, there's pool tables out here. You can go play pool, man. Like, but don't be crying in the club.
Fuck that. I've never been that down bad before. I don't understand what would drive you to, you know, fucking have the share location on and stalk someone and then take their other tires. Like, you have some very malicious intent going on there. Now you have some other hidden agenda. And I don't know. I
Yeah,
don't
the share
understand that.
location thing was already too much for me. Like, number one, like they're living together way too quickly, and then the share location thing is, man, no one's sharing my location. Like, I wouldn't even share it with like anyone, man. Like, I don't care. Like, I guess I'm just gonna die. I think modern technology harms us more than it helps us. So, like, if you were to drop somebody 20 years ago, they'd be done. 5 years ago, some people be done. Like, it's you gotta be able to make it in the real world, not the bizarre world of the internet, which is just something else. You've been off social media for how long, or how long did you take a break for?
Let's see. It's been, so I think Labor Day of 2019 is when I like deleted like Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, and then I'll occasionally get back on Facebook just because sometimes when I'm not feeling good about myself, I like to get back on Facebook and look at all the people I grew up with, see what they're doing, and then I feel better about myself knowing that I'm more successful than they are. Then I delete it again. So
Man, so you've
it's
never
kind
been
of a
on
selfish.
TikTok?
Yeah, I actually downloaded TikTok a little over a month ago, and I gotta say, it is the funniest form. I don't post anything; I just
Ugh.
forward stuff and I send stuff
TikTok
to it.
is
But it,
gross, man. Like it pulls from like my contacts. I see the weirdest stuff. Like this girl says she's a witch on TikTok, and like it begs so many questions. I'm like, what kind of witch? What kind of witch is even like applicable in 2021? Like maybe in the 1600s, 1700s, people believe you because like you could pull like whatever the currency is behind someone's ear, whatever, like a 1661 quarter, you could pull that from behind someone's ear. But today it's like, no, do you think you're Harry Potter? Like I'm just really baffled. Like, does she think like she could shoot a thunderbolt? But she's making TikToks and calling herself a witch in the bio. It's like, bro, like you can't say that in the real world. The internet is really, really bizarro world. I saw this other thing. I decided to look at TikTok right before we got on, just scroll down like three videos, like boom, boom, boom. I saw this thing that it just hurt my heart. People do anything for clout out here. This
it's
girl,
hilarious. it's for your entertainment, and that's what I take it as. I mean, there's a lot
Man,
of BS on there.
I
I mean,
guess.
there's also some funny stuff. Like I could send you some
Please
that'll have
don't.
you.
It's so awful. Like this girl got her face farted in for TikTok. Like I
It's so funny.
people gotta live that in the real world too. Like when I see people doing them TikTok dance on, they're all smiling. Savage, classy, bougie, ratchet. You know, I'm like, all right. When I see you outside, you better be doing the same thing. I need to be sitting there quietly, just like, no, that's just me on the internet. I be acting all happy in my room, dancing to Megan Thee Stallion, and then you just standing in the corner when we out. Nah, learn some social skills, TikTokers.
Hey man, it's more something you can laugh at them about. You know, it's entertainment.
This just makes me uncomfortable, man. How it's going? Cause like Instagram's almost like dying. It's becoming like a mini mall. There's ads every 4 posts, and they kind of change the algorithm up so you don't see as much. So it's just people are still trying to take it seriously, and it's not the same anymore. It's hilarious that some people are still trying to gain clout on Instagram. It's like, bro, it's over unless you go mad viral. Like, nah, the boom's over.
Yeah, Instagram is one of the worst forms of social media. You have so many chicks that have their bikini pictures photoshopped. You got people who are paying for ads and likes and followers. It's all fake. That's
Yeah,
my whole thing about social media. It's there to portray that you have this awesome life. I do this, this, and that. And you know, when you're not doing those things and you see other people doing it, you get very self-conscious about yourself. But what you don't realize is that, and I'm not going to use the very cliche way of saying you're comparing your behind the scenes to someone else's highlight reel, but that's exactly what you're doing. So people will use Instagram because they want clout, they want popularity, they want all these likes, they want all this attention. But without it, they don't have anything. They don't have social skills. They don't have any true friends beyond
yeah,
that.
yeah. I've
So
seen
that's why
that
I
for
delete
real.
it.
And my little escapades of trying to, you remember back in college, like we would just always like walk around, meet new people, just knock on random doors and stuff. So we learned that back in the day. I've been like using that type of stuff again, just going to places I wouldn't go, talking to people, just starting conversations everywhere. Like I made a new friend at the airport, just like turn around, just like, hey, where are you flying to? Just start talking like that, just get into conversations flowing like that. I'm trying to wean myself off of social media and meeting people through apps or what have you. Crap, I
Yeah.
forgot where I was going. Oh, yeah. So like I meet people with thousands of followers, and then like they're I don't see their followers yet because like we're just kind of talking 101. And they're telling me about their life. They're telling me like how they're living life and stuff, or like maybe I'll go back to their crib. And it's like, man, like you live like this and you're focusing on like app or like, and then like some of them got like their cash app in their bio and got all these ways of saying like, hey, I'm making all this money, and then like their bed's on the floor. Like that's always the biggest tell of just like, why is your bed frame on the floor? Like they cost $40 at Walmart. Like there's no issue or there's no reason for that. But people are just like, man, like their home life is so bad, but like they're on there, they're on them TikToks and that Instagram.
Well, maybe they can't come to terms with how terrible their life is. Instead of saving up that $40 to go buying themselves a bed frame, they would just like to live vicariously and project themselves onto this artificial world of social media where they're
Yeah.
getting all this attention and fame, and they're just so disconnected from what really matters that that's all they care about. And hey, if that's you and you're, you know, you rely your self-worth on how many likes a certain picture gets, well, that's just kind of sad, honestly. Like I
Yeah, it's
can't vibe
bad.
with that.
It's bad. People like they're alienating themselves for friends over some likes. They'll do anything for some clout. I know people that are just like they're absolutely, horrible in person, have weird reputations, like really don't polarize anybody that they meet. It's like if you're a polarizing personality, of course some people won't like you, that's whatever. But like when it's everybody not liking you and you're like no self-awareness of it, that's my issue. Like some people are just doing the most. And it's like, bro, like why do I even follow this person besides the fact that I know them in real life? And it's like, Ugh.
And that exists outside of Instagram. Obviously, it's on Facebook, but I noticed that that's also the narcissistic behavior is very prevalent on LinkedIn of all places.
Yeah,
So,
people
so
like
an example that I have, and I see random stuff on LinkedIn all the time from people I don't follow. But if if you're connected with someone who's following someone else and they like their post, it's going to come into your feed. And I read this one guy, he was like, I'm thankful for SDRs, which in the sales world, that stands for sales development representative. They get the lead for an account executive, the salesperson, to close. Basically, this guy posts, I appreciate SDR so much. Without an SDR, I would have not enjoyed epic vacations to Hawaii or Greece. I would not regularly eat out at fancy restaurants. I wouldn't own a home. And I was just like, what does that have to do with an SDR? You're just talking about yourself. And it made no sense to me that this he literally has the nerve to title his post, I'm thankful for SDRs, and then just lists stuff about him to basically show, look at how important I am. Look at what I've done. Me. Like, I'm sorry, I don't care. That has nothing to do with the business professional word. You basically just use this SDR to reroute the whole conversation back to you. So stuff like that just irritates me because once again, they're looking for that attention. They're looking for those
everybody's
likes.
their own plug out here. They just like will plug themselves anywhere, any inappropriate time, inappropriate place. I saw this thing. We had this thing called Air Force Quarantine University that popped off on Facebook. As one guy, like he was posting on there every day, just motivational quotes. And then finally it got down to it was like one of those sitting in the car videos, motivational quotes, not just motivational quotes. Like this man was talking to a camera, just like, yeah. One day, like this man posted himself doing pull-ups, like, bro, come on, bro, like, and put all that, motivational quotes in there. Just like, did you search these on Google somewhere? You took this from a book, and then it was just like, let me show them me doing pull-ups, and they weren't even like, the comments were like one, one. I'm like, oh, like, yeah, LinkedIn is just. I mean, I use it. I have like maybe 35 connections on there because I just don't care. People usually add me on there. I get hit up for jobs on LinkedIn, but that's not something I really want to participate in at all. I don't like it.
Yeah, it's not. It's supposed to be the social media for the professional world for networking and all that. It's not. It's kind of derived away from its original purpose. And that's another thing. People who constantly will post like motivational stuff. It's either people like the guy you mentioned, single moms, really people that haven't done.
Yeah, they steal the quotes, but they don't live them. I see that all the time. People who will steal something from somewhere, and then like if you really get down to it, and you know this person in real life, like are you planning on going there? Because you're not there yet. I see people. Well, Twitter's the worst because like just seeing that something has a bunch of likes, they'll retweet it, and then like they just like are constantly retweeting things with a high likes, and it's just like retweeting things about hating men. That's gonna permeate in your life. You're just gonna start hating people or whatever. I see people who will retweet something one day like they were like job shaming's bad, like shaming somebody for having a bad job, and then the next day this person retweeted like this guy can't talk because he only makes 38,000 a year. So I'm like, okay, you retweeted job shaming's bad, but you're shaming salary within 2 days. That's job shaming. I mean, in my definition at least, I think most other people's that's job shaming.
Yeah, I don't really find it necessary to job shame people because you don't know their position that they're in.
Yeah.
You could go from making 100K a year, something happens, you got to pick up a part-time job as a delivery driver. You make $300 for the week.
Yeah, like
You
I
don't know
love
that
talking to
person's
everybody at
story.
anywhere. Like, there's no reason to, because I worked at McDonald's for 2 years, and like I'm gonna tell you right now, there is a such thing that like I had like homeless people come in there and talk down to me for working at McDonald's. So people who say stuff like that, like there is a cognitive bias on like where you're working at. So even if like you say like, oh, I don't job shame, like if you go into McDonald's, you know you're gonna see a certain thing. If you go into a 5-star restaurant, you'll see a certain other thing. So it's like, man, like you're just talking just to talk on Twitter for real.
Yeah, I won't lie. Twitter has changed a lot since the times I've been using it. I was
That's
heavy into
awful.
Twitter, and yeah, I was heavy into Twitter back in college, like 2012 to 2014, and then I kind of just slowly faded off the app. But back in the old days,
Yeah,
it
when
was
people
pretty
used to just
funny.
tweet drunk stuff and like, yeah, just say funny stuff on Twitter, and it was only like the people you knew. Then influencer culture came around in like 2016, 2017, and that's where things just went weird, man. Like all these influencers, like somehow, like I don't even follow really anything on Twitter. I just search certain things, and then they keep suggesting me influencers for like sports. And like I'm just like, who are these people? But like people are like talking about like, oh, on their live stream, did you see this? Like, okay, you're way too involved in these people's life too, man. Like, dang, let that man breathe.
Yeah. So, well, what do you see on Twitter nowadays that's different from say back in 2012 when we were heavy into it?
Again, like you only follow people that you knew and like maybe like certain celebrities, but now like just random people on Twitter, like they have no really like no purpose. I don't know, like they have like 50,000 followers because they got like a bunch of viral tweets that they're stealing from other people or whatever, and it's just like if you're a Leo, blah 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 blah, just something stupid, but it blows because like it blows up because Twitter just will snowball a dumb idea because of I mean that's anything. If like you see 500 people like something, you'll agree with that more than you do if you see 2 people like it. It's just like that type of it's an effect. I don't know what it's
Yeah.
called, but like yeah.
Do they still have like parody accounts, like stuff Bill Clinton would say?
So they banned a lot of like funny like meme Twitters like a few
Oh,
maybe a
that's
month or two
terrible.
ago. Like some were like
That's
really old
terrible.
and they suspended. Like Twitter is it's getting bad. It's getting just too, yeah, like they're what's the word I'm looking for? Too regulated, and like the rules are very biased.
Well, that's terrible. I'm glad I got off Twitter a while back. And, on top of that, I don't even know what other social media was out there that I use. Like, I
MySpace,
tried
you're on
doing,
MySpace?
I actually made it a point to delete my MySpace, I want to say in 2016, because that shit's going to come by and bite you in the ass one day in the future. And I was heavy into MySpace in like 7th and 8th grade. And those were the years where I was vulgar in language. When you're only 13, 14 years old, you're a bit homophobic as well. So I probably, said something derogatory towards gay people that I don't know at the time I said it didn't mean it or not, but I certainly don't feel that way now. I'm not going to let something like that come back to bite me in the ass for whatever reason. So
Yeah, that's a
a
weird
PSA
thing
to
too.
everyone.
Like I've seen
I'd
like
recommend. Go
oh,
ahead. Go
you
ahead.
got it, got it. You recommend PSA?
Oh, I was going to say, I recommend deleting your MySpace. Do it now before it's too late. So
Nah, my old stuff is not bad. Cause my mom used to monitor my stuff, so I'm good. I don't think there's anything on there at all.
whoa, monitor. What kind of layout did you have?
I don't know. Uh,
Everybody had a layout, man. Come
I
on
mean,
now.
I know I used to have Phil Collins in the air tonight as my song. I used to go comment on people's page like, "Hey, check out my profile song." I don't know if they
Oh,
did or
those
not.
things. And like, dude, there was a ton of girls back in like middle school that always be like or comment my pictures, and I was like, man, I
Remember
kind of
those
get it.
polls back in the day, where they'd be like, "What color shirt are you wearing today? What color underwear?" And you'd be like reading them like, "Damn." Then like
Yeah,
they
that
give you
shit's
a
crazy.
number. Yeah, man. Like we were really in 8th grade doing stuff like that. At least that's better than just dancing for no reason in your room. They have like these kids. They have like the LED lights like going across your ceiling all over the place. Like they can't sleep without interactions from anything. Like a lot of them get anxious when they're away from their computers and stuff. It's like if you take their phone for about 5 minutes, you'll see something probably.
Oh yeah, those younger generations, they grew up like I
Yeah,
guess
with the
we kind of
iPad
grew.
in their hands and stuff. Man, why is your internet dookie?
Technology, but they were a little bit more dependent on it than we were. Oh no. My internet just like froze up for some reason.
Yeah, we're good. We're good. I think we're back. How much
All
do you
right.
pay enough for a month for internet?
I have Xfinity. I'm paying like $35 a month for 100 megabytes.
Bro, I paid 91. My internet's never gonna freeze.
Well, when I move, I'll probably pay that much as well. But in a 670 square foot apartment, you don't need a pay. Can't talk. Be paying $100 or even 90 a month for that matter.
Yeah. Yeah, what were you saying? Oh yeah, these kids
MySpace.
they've had like the iPad in their face forever. That's what scares me about having kids. Like I am going to like, make sure my kid can read. Like I'm not about to produce a dumb offspring. Like that's up to the parents. Like these kids are number one, they always think their opinion matters, even if they have no experience. Like, of course, you can give an opinion, but if I challenge you, I'm like, all right, I have like this behind me, like years of experience, degrees, whatever. What do you have? And you're just like, well, I just feel like, no, you got to be quiet now. But like, that's a lot of it too. And these people are having big voices, like you just feel it, but you have no statistics behind it. You have nothing, like just you feel it at, you know, younger than me. Like, nah, I got wisdom behind me. I got some battle experience.
Yeah, man. It's like the people who are all anti-maskers. They
Mask.
don't agree with all the information that these medical professionals are putting out. The
Yeah.
CDC, they're all like, "Well, I don't need to wear a mask. It's my right."
Yeah, they're like, I have a medical condition. Like that idea spread that you could say you have a medical condition and you don't have to wear a mask, and because like, oh, you don't have to prove that you have a medical condition due to like something. Is like, no, dude. If you have the medical condition, you probably want the mask. It's chronic pneumonia that would harm your body. So you're saying you have asthma or something like uh, that would hurt you more like than it would me without asthma. So like, it's obviously a lie. And then they start flipping out once like they get challenged, and it's like, yeah, if you actually have this medical condition, you would probably carry documentation or calmly state like what your doctor said. But of course, like if someone flips out and says like so that's another Twitter thing. They're like, my doctor, my dietitian, my nutritionist, my this, that. Like, number one, like, who's going to all those specialists unless you have issues? And you're like saying you don't have an issue or saying you do have an issue. It's like, uh, okay, like, no one's really going to challenge that because that's stupid, but also you're capping.
Yeah, absolutely. And people are feeling the same way about the vaccine, saying, "Oh, I'm not going to get it." Yet they forget the fact that we eradicated polio. Um, couple,
Diarrhea,
couple,
we got medicines that made that like not kill you.
God, there was some other flus, so it was polio and a couple others. We basically got
Influenza,
rid of these.
maybe? No, influenza is still
Well,
around.
well, yeah, the flu evolves year after year, but a lot of these diseases we eradicated them because of a
Oh,
vaccine.
smallpox.
Smallpox, that's what it was. Yeah.
Yeah.
So polio and smallpox both
Yeah,
got
I got a
eradicated
smallpox
because of
shot.
a vaccine. So we might
Yeah.
have to get a COVID vaccine year after year, like a flu shot, which
Yeah, COVID's never going away. Like I was talking to one of my Uber drivers and she gave me a theory. It's definitely a theory, but it's something I never thought of. She was like the rainforest is getting cut down and ice caps are melting. So there's stuff that's been underground forever that's being released in the atmosphere. And I'm like, that's kind of scary. I don't think that's where COVID came from, but yeah, it's definitely scary to think about that we are like, kind of releasing stuff that's been underground for millions of years. So, we don't know what could happen.
yeah, exactly. And even with that, 99% of all species that have lived on the planet Earth are now extinct.
Yeah.
So we don't know what wiped out those other species. Was it natural causes? Was it disease? Who knows?
Yeah, we're about to wipe ourselves out just by being stupid, just by being like, not working together as much anymore. There's a lot of division just by people saying, oh, I could be independent. Like That's not how society works, being independent. Not at all. Like 50, 60 years ago, everybody knew their neighbors and stuff. That was the first thing. We stopped knowing our neighbors. And then like we started beefing with our friends all the time. And now we're just beefing with random people on the internet who have like some type of fame. Just like, man, like they did something 20 years ago. Well, I can send them death threats. If I can find their family, like I'll send them messages too. Like that's nutty. Like find something to do.
That brings up the question: do you think the rise of this prominence of technology has caused that individualness amongst people?
Yeah, because you can always find like someone who's like-minded to you on the internet, or like find someone you want to do, and then like also like you have the whimsy of anyone else when you have like something that can entertain you all times in your hand. So this is like people's only friend, and it's their only like source of attention. It's some of their jobs in their hands. Like we're going through like like the industrial revolution. We're going through a technological revolution. There was never a time in history where like if you had to be away from someone, you're just away from them until you saw them again, until letters and stuff were popular. And then from there it was telegrams. From there it was a phone call. But like even with the phone call, they had to be at home on a landline, and that was like revolutionary for years and years. Now you can text all day, and people get anxious if you don't text them back immediately. Like I'm trying to like not do that. I'm trying to text less people. It's just annoying trying to keep up conversations all day, share memes with each other all day, every day. Like, man, like a human needs some time to kind of decompress and not be like connected to all this all the time, or else it's gonna like, we're definitely seeing a difference in people due to that.
Absolutely. And I'm not on my phone as much as other people are. I admit I'm on it a lot. I think according to my iPhone, a little under 6 hours a day active screen time on my phone. I'm trying to reduce that, but I have to deal with people who will complain if I don't get back to them, in a certain
Post
amount of
haste,
time.
yeah.
Yeah, and even with that, like one thing I noticed on social media, that if someone comments or someone likes something of yours, you immediately have to check what it was. Or someone sends you a message, immediately check what it was. And I hate that. So it's a goal of mine to be on my phone less, but that's also much easier said than done because we're so reliant. Because this provides a rush of dopamine, you know, like hardly anything else does.
Yeah, I feel that. Like, I really want to get away, but I also want to build up this podcast and, network with people that way. So it's definitely going to be using it for that. But also, like, I deleted all my Tinder, my Bumble, my Hinge. I just couldn't do it anymore because at the end of the day, like, when you're out in person and you talk to someone, you build a much better connection than someone you meet up with off an app. And then, like, when you meet them, like, you might like them, you might not like them. They might not even look the same, which I've ran into that one or two times, and maybe they didn't think I looked the same. So it's just like we're just looking at each other, But if you meet someone in person, it's much more dynamic. It's a lot more fun. I had a lot of fun this week, just going around talking to new people, like just being in somewhere, just chilling. Some nights my social clock would be done. Someone come talk to me first, and then like it just get me going. Like it's like a snowball effect when you go to a party. You remember that one party we went to? Where that girl ran into a wall.
How long ago was this?
It was 2012, or yeah, maybe. But remember, like we walked in, and everybody was just standing in an empty room looking at each other, and I was like, "Hi, my name's Dion."
I do remember that.
Yeah, you gotta
It
like
was
just
funny.
start doing that. Like everybody's just awkwardly in the room. It's like, all right, no one's gonna talk. You gotta be the first one to go, and then from there, like
I think that was at D's house. You remember that dude?
yeah, man, he just popped back up on my Snapchat. Like he wasn't around in my social media for years, and you just forget about people if you don't see him on social media. You're just like, oh, okay. And then like, yeah, like I'm
Yeah,
just
I
like,
don't know. That
oh,
was a fun day.
yeah, definitely saw someone run into a wall that night. Like college drinking was something different. You don't see some stuff like that anymore. But
Yeah, drinking was fun when it was a lot more fun than it is nowadays. Now you drink too much, you feel like total shit for like 2 days in a row, or at least I do.
yeah, some days it does hit you, and like I've had times where I woke up the next day and I'm just like depressed really hard. I'm like, man, why am I so sad? I'm like, oh, I guess because I drank too much. I don't know. If I have a good night though, like I'll wake up fine. It's like you just gotta like really have a fun time by socializing, having just let loose for real. Don't worry about anything, and you'll wake up feeling fine. But like, because alcohol is depressing, right? They always said alcohol is depressing. I get it. Like, you have a bad night on alcohol, you can wake up in the morning like, well,
I'm depressed.
yeah. They can like, some people don't even like to hear what they did while they're drinking. And they're like, "Oh, I blacked out." Like, no, you didn't. Like, you couldn't have blacked out
Okay,
like the whole.
let's be honest. How many times have people truly blacked out? Because when you black out, you literally do not remember a thing. And if that
Yeah,
happens to you quite often, I don't think I think you have a neurological issue, first of all.
yeah,
And second of all, I think they just use it as a cop out. I mean, I don't remember a time when I blacked out, but that's because I blacked out. And people says, "Oh, I blacked out."
yeah.
They
Like there's
remember.
times when like I don't remember. Like I can get in the Uber and then from there like I just wake up at home. But I definitely remember like leaving the venue and stuff like that. Like I'm never like blacked out and like I'm just wild and like either I fell asleep or like there's no like just me wild and acting crazy. And that's always like the ones who say they black out when like they do something and then it's just like, yeah, you know what you did. If I bring it up, you get awkward. So you're just like, I blacked out last night. Like, okay, okay.
Yeah, they don't understand what a blackout means. They think it just means getting extremely drunk, making regretful decisions when it's not quite what it means. So yeah, I get it now. I get it now. When people, no one's gonna say, "Oh, I blacked out," because if you blacked out, you wouldn't say that because you don't remember anything. So that makes total sense now.
Yeah, like I would be like, if you actually black out, you'd be like, how did I get home or something like that. And that's never the questions. It's never how did I get home. It's always just like I blacked out last night. Like, uh, okay, like so you don't black out when you don't do anything crazy. Even if like we do drink the same amount, it's only when you like wild out. Okay, whatever. Word, you blacked out.
That and it's when people say, "Oh, I woke up at this place," or "I woke up with someone else's shirt on." Like that makes the story sound interesting. In reality, made some dumb decision. We're like, "Oh, I'm gonna throw up, so I'm just gonna lay down here." Oh man, I woke up in some other chick's room. What do you know? Like, so
Yeah, dudes do be capping about how they are when they go out too. That's another thing. Like they'll tell you like all the wild things like they've done in the past in college and stuff, and then like you like go out with him, and then it's like, so where is that? It doesn't just go away. So, um, was you capping because you took me to your favorite pool hall and you just want to play pool here all night? And you do this often. Cool.
So I try to do the opposite. I try to tell people that, oh, I went out drinking last night, then I came home and went to sleep. And make it sound as least as interesting as possible. So that way, when something does happen, oh man, crazy, right? Which even with that, nothing crazy ever happens. It's just I end up making a fool of myself, and then that's a story everyone will remind me of years down the road.
Yeah, man. Everybody has their stories about you. They got the secondhand stories too. Those are always the worst. Or you like talk to like one of those people who are like pathological liars, and like they're like, I heard you did this," and the pathological liar is like, "Yeah, I was there." I'm like, "No, you weren't, bro. Like, why do you insert yourself in situations you weren't at?"
Yeah, that shit's hell annoying. Like the thing is, I've known of people who lie about like that. I just get tired of calling them out on it because you just from then on out you just kind of realize, all right, this person's a liar. Every time they bring something up, you're just like, okay, so that's probably there's a 90% chance that's not true. So you just take everything they say as false unless you have some irrefutable evidence that hardly ever happens. So
Yeah, some of them
that's
are
how I do it.
hilarious
I've
though.
known quite a few people. I've known quite a few people that have been pathological liars and just, you know,
They'll be rich one day and tell you stories about being rich. Then like 2 days later, they're like, I grew up super poor. It's like, bro, like, please keep your stories together, but they can't. They can't even keep them together.
Or it's the people that say they, make so much money, or I made this amount of money, and you want to go do something with them, and they're quiet, like because they can't afford it. And you're just like,
Yeah.
well, where's all this money you're talking about? Where
Yeah.
did it go? What
I
did you
got
spend
people
it
like
on?
that I
Tell
saw
me.
it. It was hilarious when everybody's talking about getting the stimulus and stuff, and like they're talking about how much investing they've been doing and all this stuff. And like I read the terms of the stimulus package, and it's like you shouldn't get the stimulus package if you've been investing all this time and doing all this. And so it's like, okay, so where are you at really? But just don't even want to deal with it. Like that's their life. Like, go ahead.
Or some people just be like, oh, I don't even get the stimulus check. Like, yeah, you are. You just, can make it seem like you're making over 80K a year, but unless you're in like the top 90th percentile of Americans, which let's face it, most of us aren't,
Yeah.
you ain't making that. You're
Yeah,
gonna
just
get
by
your stimulus
definition,
money.
most of us aren't like. So it's like, yeah, everybody tries to portray a life and stuff, and I make so much money, and then okay, then why are you living the life that you do? If it's like, I make a little bit more money than I did like, years ago, and like I progress forward in my life, start making better investments, start, your time's your most valuable asset. So if I have more time on my hands, so I'm not working longer hours or working two jobs, and like I'm doing other things in my life and really enjoying my time that I have, like, jobs that pay you more money, give you better benefits. So, like, yeah, I'm enjoying the time off, all that. And then people like portray themselves as super busy all the time. And then like you get down to it and it's like, man, you're messaging people you went to high school with to try and sell them like candles. Like that's not a busy job
Oh
at
yeah,
all.
those are everywhere. I mean, I got people hitting me up, trying to, help mine Bitcoin and all that. Like they're like the Ty Lopez's everything. They're gonna portray this life, try to get people in their little circle so they can screw them over, make money off them, and perpetuate the cycle. And it's super annoying. I don't know why people do it, honestly. Like that's making becoming a millionaire by trying to like grab other people in your stuff, whether that's multi-level marketing and a pyramid scheme. That's so difficult to do. I mean, it's literally a 1 in a million chance of it happening. Meaning you have to literally get a million people, you know, to agree to your business, screw them over for you to become successful. So there are much
Yeah.
easier ways to make a lot of money other than that.
I just never
I
want
don't
to
get it.
work on commission because I'm kind of like some days I'm lazy and I don't really want to put in the work. So I need that hourly or salary or nothing because commission, like if I have to like actually some days I don't feel like getting out the mud. I really don't.
See, I'm a little bit different in that regard because I like commission, but you have to have a base salary with your commission. Never do 100% commission. That's a disaster because if you have a really crappy day, week, month, you have to borrow from your future earnings. That can also screw you over because that means you have to work twice as hard later down the road. But yeah, I agree. Everyone has days where you kind of just want to slack off the whole day because maybe it's a Friday and you just don't really care. You know, everyone gets those. Unfortunately, in my line of work, if I get caught doing that, I get yelled at, which isn't fun. But jobs that work on commission have a ton of burnout and a lot of turnover because it gets to people. This past week, my job got to me. I had my boss text me while I had PTO because my parents were in town. He was telling me I need to log on my computer and do a little bit of work. While I requested PTO, time off that I earned,
Yeah.
so it's messed up, man. That shit gets to you. So
Yeah.
yeah, if I could work in a salary job where I'm guaranteed X amount of dollars every year, that'd be great. But getting to that level where you have, unquestionable earnings that you're going to be satisfied with, whether that be 100K, 150K a year, those jobs aren't easy to get.
Yeah. And you have to, in our parents' day and before that, people would stay at the factory for 40 years. They stay at whatever job for 40 years. In today's workplace, you just got to keep building that. That's the one thing I keep LinkedIn for. Like I have had 4 jobs over the last under 2 years. I've had 4 jobs. Three three jobs really, but 4 companies. So the company got bought out or something like that. But yeah, I was working actually 5 jobs. I didn't make it to one job because guy just called me on the phone and was like, "Yeah, these jobs fell through." So then I had to take a lesser paid job, but I did not stay there long at all. And then from there, I just keep hopping, keep my options open and keep building my resume. And that's the world of today. We just keep building skills and working on it, or you get left behind. And a lot of people are they're seeing that, there's no milkmen, there's no witches, there's no elevator operators anymore. And there's people who I'm sure stuck by to the very end of those industries. Like, no, I heard like it's going to stay and like we're going to do this and that or strike. And no, I mean, I can get milk at Walmart now. Got to
Yeah,
innovate.
exactly. And I think our generation is starting to adapt that mentality of knowing your worth, knowing that your loyalty, loyalty is not a two-way street in any type of corporate environment. You're replaceable. Everyone's replaceable, first of all. Like there's not one person that is not irreplaceable. And I've noticed a lot of, people in their 20s, maybe early 30s are adapting this mentality of, not staying at jobs for very long. And it's not to show that they're not a good worker. It's to show that they know their worth, they know their own importance, and they value themselves more than the company that they work for. And there's older generations that disagree with that, but
Yeah.
I disagree with those older generations. I think it's great if you continually build skills, build that experience, and go on to something greater because you're valuing yourself more than anything else. And that to me is the most important thing to do.
Yeah. People get
And
shocked when you leave a job. Like, if you put in a 2 week notice, they're like, still, what? Why? Where you going? How much you making? Just all up on you. Like, man, like just let me go. Like, I work this job. I'm leaving amicably. I'm leaving on good terms, and like just let me go. But no, they're all up in your business, and they're like, oh, we're gonna hit you up when you go. Like, can you get me a job there? Like, no, just leave it.
and I'm starting to notice that 2 week notices are also a thing of the past now. And here in Colorado, we are an at will state, meaning
Yeah,
your employer can fire you on the spot for any reason, and they don't have to disclose it to you. Like, you're fat, get out of here. They don't have to tell you that. They can just tell you, like, leave. And that could be why. However, to remember this, with our generation valuing themselves more than the company, you could just walk in one day and be like, hey, I'm out of here. Quit your
yeah.
job.
I mean, you could always,
You know,
but you just don't want to, I guess,
people
burn
have done
bridges or
that.
whatever. Yeah. I mean, I did that at
You know,
Lowe's back in the day, and like, I don't care. I'm never gonna work at a Lowe's again. But in this world, especially since it's a niche career field that I work in, like maybe it could come back to bite me, but probably not. I actually did do that for one job because like I just like they had me sitting, and they were gonna have me sitting for like several more months. So I wasn't even useful to them, and so I was only there for 3 weeks too. For I was just like, hey, this Friday, I'm done.
yeah, I noticed, the whole don't burn your bridges is kind of blown out of proportion. Yeah, if you're in a smaller, you know, field, maybe it's not the best idea to burn your bridges, but you know, that's a small minority. If for a company, if you're working at a sales job like I am, you can tell your boss to F off, go work for this company, go work for the competitor.
Yeah.
You know, it doesn't matter. So I think that's also a thing of the past as well.
Yeah,
You
there's
know,
so many companies turning up, so much money that these corporations are pushing out. I think that's another thing with why social media is kind of evil because yeah, they're making all that ad revenue and like ad revenue is so big. People are just like, pushing ads in their own videos. Like YouTube used to be a funny place where people made weird music videos and you watch Naruto episodes on there. Now people like mid video like my favorite headphones is this Pulse 3D wireless headset. Blah blah blah. Just like a 2 minute ad. It's like, man. But I mean, hey, they're getting their paper, so like I'm trying to get like that. I sell anything.
I do miss the old YouTube before the ads. Back when, there'd be there was this one old YouTuber. It was this kid with like gap teeth. His name was like Proane2 Forever. His videos aren't on YouTube anymore.
Make Me
But it
Bad
was
35.
who was it?
Make Me Bad 35.
I don't know who that is.
You don't know
Well,
Make Me Bad.
so you get the point though. Like there used to be these YouTubers that would just post these videos, and it'd just be like hilarious stuff. And
Yeah.
people would reply to that video with
Oh yeah,
videos
with
of their
videos,
own.
yeah.
And that was hilarious because you just get the most ridiculous things, like people just cussing at one another. There'd be man, the old days
Chocolate
of
Rain,
YouTube,
bro.
yeah, the old days of YouTube were great.
Numa Numa.
Once they realized they could start making money with all these ads, I feel like it just kind of ruined its authenticity. That just doesn't exist. So
Yeah, everything just
Sad.
came and became like, no matter how much people think they're identical or like unique, actually, how much they think they're unique, like if you're like going for that stuff hella heavy, you're corporate as heck. Cause like if you get big, you can get taken out. Like that girl, what's her name? Brooke Houts.
Brooke Houts, what happened with her?
So she had like 300K subscribers, and then like she was always posting like pranks on her dog. So she'd make that dog like run into saran wrap and stuff like that. And then she accidentally posted like the edited video that she like edited out, and it was like her beating her dog and stuff. She posted that. So like she was done from there. She should just get off the internet. But this girl is still trying to make videos. Her comments are turned off, like everything. And it's just like, man, like they're never gonna forget this. So like, unless you like, move out the country, change your hair, and then start a YouTube career there, like you're done for on the internet. Like people will never let that one go.
Oh, that reminds me. Yeah, like Demi Lovato, for example, a couple of years ago at one of the Super Bowls, she was tweeting about all my favorite, part about the Super Bowl was the 21 Savage commercial, and everyone on Twitter was giving her crap about her doing heroin and all that sort of thing. And that's always going to stick with her forever. So, yeah, it's like
Yeah.
irreversible damage with that sort of thing. Like
Yeah, you remember Brother
screw up
Nature?
once, you're donezo. Brother Nature?
Yeah, the guy who used to feed like the deer carrots and stuff. He'd be like Canela.
I don't know about this. No.
So he has 2 million followers, right? He seriously would just make videos of him. He was like famous on Vine, like feeding animals and stuff. But he was in a restaurant, and I guess he threatened some people. He was like, dead man, dead man. Then he came back in and swung at him, and he got jumped, of course. And then like once he got back to his social media, he was like, I got jumped, blah 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 blah. And then like there's a video in the restaurant, like it's a restaurant, there's cameras, and they showed like the whole thing. So like everything he posts now, like people were just like, we haven't forgot, and like he's not getting as much clout anymore. Like yeah, he's cancel culture is, it's good to like make someone, apologize for a mistake and promise to be good going forward. They're trying to cancel people for life. That's Orwellian. Like, you ever read 1984?
Yeah.
Heard of it? Yeah, like the thought police is like a real thing, and it came about in a weirder way. It's like in 1984, it was kind of like more of a stringent totalitarian rule type thing, which I guess it could become that, nowadays, like you're ruled by these corporations and all of that. And then like if you step out, the whole society is going to shun you, which that's kind of how we've been as humans forever. Like people think this is new. Like we've shunned people who wrote bad books, shunned people for whatever. That's why people were scared to do like certain things, scared to talk to people, because back in the day, if you approached the wrong person, like, okay, if I was going to talk to a woman in my tribe or my little primal society and she didn't like me, then I mean, that was my only option. Like I'm dying and my genes are done. Like, so like if you, bombed it, then yeah, like you're done. You're done. So like you develop like the fear and stuff, and then like yeah, people love to shun people. They're always looking for some reason.
Yeah, the whole cancel culture thing, I think, is a little bit over the top because I agree there's some things that have been done in the past that are straight up racist, homophobic, discriminatory that should end. But then you have Gen Zs that are trying to cancel Eminem for a lyric in one of his older songs, and you're just like, all right, well, this is a bit ridiculous and
Yeah, like you're just like going through all of old history at this point. Like you're gonna find like Mark Twain put the N word in what Huckleberry Finn or whatever. Like, are you gonna cancel Mark Twain? Like, what? At some point, like you gotta realize like the good these people put on the world, and then like what time they're living in. Like people like Gandhi was racist. Like, I mean,
Mother Teresa was a total piece of shit. You know,
yeah.
Not saying anything bad about Martin Luther King, but Martin Luther King was known to have like a ton of prostitutes like around him regularly.
Yeah, that's I mean, that's always how it's been for people with clout and power. It's always how it is. There's always going to be groupies for the like, that's how it's been for all of time. All of time. And it's like, yeah, you're trying to cancel. I saw this thing where I don't even know who this guy was, but on Twitter they were trying to cancel him because some girl posted her DMs between them. I guess she messaged him before. He replied happy birthday. Then years later they messaged again. So maybe she messaged him first, like years later, and then like they did things consensually, and he ghosted her afterwards. And then like that's what they're trying to cancel. Like they're like, oh, he was grooming, like for what? For saying happy birthday? Like that doesn't make sense. And then like she was 22 at the time things happened, and he ghosted her. Like number one, like yeah, there's a lot of things around that. It's like, man, like this man is not obligated to this woman. Like, what the heck are you talking about?
They tried to cancel Genuine, that guy who has that song Pony. That's always
Pony.
So they tried to cancel him because I guess a transgender male to female tried to kiss him and he wouldn't do it. And people thought that was extremely like, I don't know.
Oh, it was on some reality TV show, right?
Yeah, and he wasn't about it. And I'm like, the man can kiss whoever he wants to. If he doesn't want to do it, leave him alone. It's his choice.
Yeah, that's the thing. Like that's an idea going around on social media a lot, that like you're homophobic if you don't want to do something sexual with someone. Like, no, like that's when I hear people talk about autonomy of your body and stuff, but that doesn't apply to men sometimes. Like I've had that happen, twice in the past 2 months, hearing instances of that where, a straight man obviously doesn't want to hook up with someone who, it's not their preference. And then like the person just keeps pressing the issue and everything like that. And it's like, hey man, like just leave me alone. Like and then like they get mad and like, all right, so you think you're going to yell at me into it? Cause that doesn't work either. Like leave it alone, man.
Yeah, it's ridiculous. I mean,
it's predatory.
I don't know. It absolutely is predatory. I don't want to go into the topic of one of my old workplaces, but the place I used to work before I moved out to Colorado was a place that was very, very LGBT friendly. It was probably the most LGBT friendly workplace in the entire country. And I got to see my first share of working in a big company and see the nepotism that existed. And it was nepotism towards people who are LGBT. I've been passed over for promotions because I was straight. I don't know. Was that the exact reason why? I don't know. I'm not saying that was, but I've noticed that people who identified in that crowd got preferential treatment at this job. And I don't work there anymore. It doesn't bother me. It's not an issue to me anymore.
Yeah, people hate white men on the internet right now. So like they could go off on y'all.
That reminds me. Do you remember back in 2016 when MTV made that viral video called Dear White Guys? And they deleted it now, but when it came out, everyone just tore it apart because it was racist basically. It was like, hey fellow white guys, don't do this, don't do that. But you can have Kanye West. We don't want him. Like just stuff like that. And obviously,
that's harmful for men because, like, yes, throughout history, everyone has been bad. Everyone's had their time where maybe they've done some questionable stuff, but there are racist white men, but there's good white people. Like it's getting less and less of a racist country, but there also are people on the left who claim to be anti-racist, and then they just go off and say something racist. Guy, what's his name? Claiborne or something like that. So Bill Burr cracked the joke at the Latin Grammys. He said, "Why is this CIS white man up here doing this for a Aladdin show or
Oh
Aladdin
yeah.
award?" Yeah, and this guy was like, because like Bill Burr's wife is black, and everybody was like, he's not racist, bro. Like he's been cracking jokes like this for years, but you know, of course, cancel culture. They just want him. Like they go after Bill Burr every 6 months. Anyway, this guy was like, blah 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 blah. White men, you know, are known to want like sex slaves and stuff like that. And like that's his wife, buddy. Like, what are you talking about? And like I see that a lot where especially like over the last year, I saw people like, try and use Black Lives Matter and all this to push their issue, where it's like that like we're fighting for not to not be killed by the cops, and you know we're talking about here something completely different, trying to like
Yeah.
you know rope it into there, but like no, you're talking about something completely different. What are you talking about?
Yeah, that's crazy. Yeah, I don't even know where to go after that, man. Just it's
Yeah, like I saw this tweet where like this dude said he broke up with a girl and she took Black Lives Matter out her bio.
wow. Jesus, that's oh my god, man, that's ridiculous.
That's hilarious. That's actually kind of funny. Like, yeah, all the people who still like just got Black Lives Matter in their bio. They're I'm like, how long are you gonna keep that in there? Like, you don't seem like Alex. You're always mad on the internet. You're always contradicting yourself. Like, you're just putting that in there because you want to seem like you know you're tolerant and all this, but you always got fire going. Those are the people who are always talking about other people. Like, if you don't like them, just leave them alone. But they're like white men, blah 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 blah, and then like it goes viral. Like, and that's hurting people because like they see those ideas and stuff, and you know some people actually start to feel that way, and then other people like they see those ideas and they feel bad about themselves for no reason. They start trying to apologize just for being alive. Like that's the silliest thing I've ever heard. Like, no, you gotta be confident in who you are. And they're out here like,
Yeah, that's
I'm sorry for like what?
yeah, that's ridiculous. I agree. You should not ever feel sorry for being alive. I think that's just straight up dumb. You shouldn't be ashamed for being alive either. Never be ashamed of who you are. But yeah, people do try to push that agenda. And I got in an argument with someone from high school back when I was on Facebook about that sort of thing because me and this guy who I was friends with, this dude came over to my house multiple times back in the day. You know, I made some comment about how I didn't think that defunding the police was the greatest idea to go with the whole, Black Lives Matter thing and having it so there's a reform and minorities are not treated unfairly by police. And we went back and forth. I ended up being called racist, and I was like, this doesn't make any sense. And not that I'm trying to perpetuate that argument now, but if you really look down at the transparent point of view, defunding the police and reforming the police technically are the same thing. The only difference is defunding the police is not an accurate slogan, which is why defunding the police has not happened throughout the country. It happened in Minneapolis, and there's multiple articles saying that police have quit on the job. There's been a rise in crime in downtown Minneapolis since George Floyd's murder. So it's hard for white people to talk about these sort of things because if we say something that's slightly that most people may disagree with, we're going to be called racist. We're going to be called this or that.
Yeah, so, that's the same thing I'm saying with other things. Like you get called racist, any type of phobic, just by stating your opinion. It's not even a bad opinion. Like you saying, like about defund the police. That's not the thing to do, or it is the thing to do. What have you? Like that doesn't make you racist. And you said like that person's been to your house, so like he's met you in person or whatever. But like for the sake of argument,
he's met my whole family.
Yeah, like for the sake of the argument on the internet, like now it's like just like these dumb ideas are permeating society and it's divisionary. Like no, like everybody can't be a phobic just because like they don't want to. Like no, it's your personality. It's not like that they hate all people of your unless they hate all people who are whatever you identify as far as like, because like they're like, if you talk about dieting, you're fat phobic, or like, no, everybody eats what you eat is a diet. So like if I talk about like that, I only eat like this or that, and like you're like, that's fat phobic. Like one of the things for me is, which, well, I'm glad to be out of the office, because my lord, the people like, they always want to challenge me, because like I come in like all my stuff's like pretty fitted and stuff, so they're just like, I brought cake, eat some cake, just staring at me like, no man, like I don't want it. Like I never really like cake, but like there's like, oh, you too good for it, like they get heated. Like it's like, man, like just leave well enough alone. Like I'm not, talking down to your cake, but also like I don't want cake at 7 a.m. in the morning, bro. It's an
Oh yeah,
issue.
that's terrible.
That's an
You know
issue.
that reminds me of the whole fat shaming thing. Like you should never make fun of a woman's body or anything. Which I mean, not that I would do that anyways, but I don't think you should, like people like Lizzo, for example, should be promoting a healthy body image, because she doesn't have a healthy body. She's obese. She is overweight. She probably won't live past 40, 50 years old, and she's going to have health problems down the line. So I never understood that. And I understand that some people have a medical condition, they're going to be overweight. Okay, that's not everyone. 60, I think it's up to 70% of Americans, especially during COVID, because, well, you don't have a reason to go out or anything. People are overweight, people are unhealthy.
Yeah, it's
Maybe it
I
has,
watched a documentary, sorry to interrupt. Like since the 80s, obesity rate has either doubled or tripled. And I mean it's only getting worse, because like we keep going back to the same thing, but it's all just dumb groupthink by unqualified individuals talking about like, I saw like there's this one thing that's like, okay to be fat Twitter account. It's like it's okay for children to be fat. Like kids are 5 years old and 145 pounds. I could get to 145 pounds in like 2 weeks. I'm a 27-year-old, like, adult. Like, there's no reason for that. There's never been a time throughout history where people are like this big. They're like, oh, in the Middle Ages, it was a sign of wealth. Like, who are the wealthy people in the
yeah,
Middle Ages? The kings and queens who didn't do any work, like, because they were sitting around eating all day. And that's what people are doing now. They're sitting around eating all day, like, wake up, eat, like, whatever foods. Like, fast food wasn't a thing before, like, 1950s. So, like, you're going to fast food 3-4 times a week. Like, your diet is not the same. People were working in more manual labor jobs back in the day. So again, like, if we have the sedentary lifestyle, we have all those stuff, and then I try to justify like, oh, this is how humans are always supposed to be. 95% of people who lose weight put it back on, which that's a study from 1959. So it's like, yeah, maybe they lost like 4 pounds and then they put that back on, but now it's like, no, people are, it's bad. Like if you go to like a high school, like even like back when I was in high school, like the obesity rate, like in the last decade has gotten bad.
yeah. A lot of that has to do also with we have a lot more carbohydrates in our food ever than
Yeah.
before. And
You watched that Jordan Peterson?
I did. How'd you know
Yeah,
that?
he said the same. That's where I got, because I was just like, yeah, I
Yeah.
stopped eating bread so much, and it's helped over like the past couple months. Just not so much bread, just only like rice. And that's really the carbs I take in, is like rice for a little bit of energy. But yeah, I don't eat potatoes too much. Like potatoes are peasant foods to help between famine. So is bread. So are
Yeah.
grains. Like that's peasant food, and it's supposed to keep you like, fat and like happy, fat and happy. Like, yeah, the peasants are fat and happy when they have potatoes and grains, and yes, carbohydrates.
I gotcha. Yeah, I mean I don't know. It's crazy. A lot of it has to do with the dieting. Other than that has to also do with your lifestyle. People
Yeah,
drink soda, and you see those people at the gas stations. They have the freaking 64-ounce cup full of Mountain Dew,
yeah,
and that's literally just empty calories you're filling yourself with. So, you know, people have to have their soda every afternoon.
yeah. Like two
They
two
have.
liters a day. Like some people are up to like dang, that's so much, man. Like grown adults. Like I'm luckily like, if you stay away from it for a couple weeks, like it doesn't help you. Like if I stay away from fast food for like 3 weeks, a fried burger will hurt my stomach so hard. Like not even like
Yep.
a grilled burger, but a fried one, like anything with any breading on it, it hurts to eat. If it's greasy, like yeah, that's doesn't feel good on the stomach. So like yeah, you just gotta stay away from it for a couple weeks. Like anything, you'll get used to in a couple weeks. Like the first couple days, you know, you might crave something, but after that, after you get away from it, then it's boom, it's easy. That's how intermittent fasting went for me. Man, like I wish I could just like 'cause people always say I can't lose weight, I can't do this and do that, but like they get on fad diets and stuff like that. That's like a fad diet might work for someone, but they're also doing it in a different way. They might be actually tracking their stuff, but if you get on just a good diet of vegetables, uh, lean meats if you're gonna eat meat, but meat's a luxury. Just like kind of a diet of, I mean, if you got a cookbook from like 1920, I bet you'd be good because like bread wasn't like sliced bread wasn't a thing. Anywho, that's my
Yeah,
rant.
no, I agree. But it's just people have easy access to fast food and all these other restaurants. A lot of people don't exercise,
Yeah,
and they want these immediate results, and they don't realize that it has to be a lifestyle change. The person that you see going to the gym that has like that looks like they're in amazing shape, that's all their life is. I'll go to the gym 3 to 4 times a week, and there's a select few people that are in much better shape than me. They are there every single time I am, which leads to me to believe that they're there every single day. So
yeah, it's all they
people
have to
don't
do.
realize, yeah, and people don't realize also a lot of these fad diets, the Atkins diet, paleo diet, whatever it is, all
Keto.
these diets are, yeah, well, all these diets are designed to do is just have you intake less calories. That's all it is. There was a professor at, I don't remember what college it was, but he proved to his group of students that he basically said, I'm going to eat nothing but Twinkies, Ho-Hos, Oreos, nothing but junk food for the next month. And I bet I lose weight. And he tracked his calories, ate nothing but that. He lost weight. And a lot of people don't know that. They figure, oh, if I eat an apple,
Yeah,
that's good for me. I'll lose weight. And yet they eat McDonald's and they're like, oh, I don't have results. So
and they like drink
that's
those
going to be
sugary Starbucks drinks too. Like that's the thing. Like liquid calories are a real problem for people. Like liquid calories, drinking their bottles of wine every night. Like yeah, that's gonna put it on.
Yeah, and then you hear people talk about like, oh, I'm trying to lose weight for spring break. Like, sorry to say, but you know, if you ain't there by now, probably ain't gonna happen.
Yeah, like you gotta have the willpower for real, and that's the first thing that people do not have anymore with the world of modern convenience we live in. Like we're spiraling towards the world of Wally really fast, which I've never even seen that movie, but weren't
I've
like
seen
the
it.
people like stuck in their chairs and really fat.
Yeah, so Earth was like this apocalyptic
Yeah, 'cause, like
wasteland.
no one can maintain it anymore. Like we found that out about Texas, like their infrastructure wasn't built for that, and
Oh yeah, with the
people weren't
snowstorms.
weren't
Yeah,
weren't built for being there. Like they didn't have any type of. I mean, obviously it was a random ice storm, but like they had no idea what to do in that situation.
yeah, absolutely not. Just it's crazy to see, but yeah, we probably are heading more towards a Wally like world
Yeah,
where
Idiocracy is already here. That movie took place in like 2500.
25. Oh yeah, that's right. I thought you were saying it came out like you were trying to say it came out in 2005, which was
No, it did come out in
a ways ago.
2005, but like it's like it takes place 500 years in the future.
Right, where the professional wrestler is president, which I mean, our last president was the closest thing to that because Donald Trump was on WrestleMania one year.
I mean, Jesse
So
Ventura was a governor.
yeah, and he
So
wanted to run for president too. So it's world's it's headed towards that direction.
yeah, like it's getting there just because like everybody has their little opinion on the internet and they can find someone to believe it even if it's not even right or scientifically proven. If it like so all right, I come from a world of organized religion, Southern Baptist Church, and they started preaching a different way eventually. Like they would used to shun you from the church if you did whatever. Like, I mean, the Crusades, they would kill you if you didn't believe in this or that. And now like they preach to make people feel good. Like, so it's and it makes them more money. Like if you make people mad in church, like they're not gonna, give their tithes and offerings to a church that makes them mad. But if it makes them feel good about all their life decisions and stuff, just like zodiacs. That's another thing. My lord, zodiacs. Like people were like, I act this way because I'm a X. Like, huh? That doesn't make
Yeah,
sense.
I never understood any of that either. And if you actually read the descriptions, a lot of these zodiacs, like you
They're
are a
vague.
Taurus. You are, yeah, exactly. They're so ambiguous that literally any person could relate to any
Yeah.
zodiac sign. So it's complete malarkey. Honestly, makes no sense to blame how you act on your zodiac sign. That has
Yeah.
nothing to do with how you are.
A lot of organized religions are based around the stars and stuff, and that's zodiacs again. Like zodiacs just based around the stars, so people look to, they want to have a bigger reason in life for what they are, but we're animals at the end of the day, and we've been acting the same way throughout history. But now I just noticed like over the past couple years, like a lot of people have been like, Aquarius just act like this, and I don't like Leos. Man, like just be a likable person and maybe you'll like some Leos. Like, dog, like it's not that serious.
Yeah, you can't blame your shitty personality on your zodiac sign. That's just who you are as a person. So
Nah, like,
I
you
don't
need
know.
to go to therapy or read some books of people who had like situations and how they fixed it, and then apply some pressure to that instead of trying to like run around the whole world. Like I hate that when I'm talking to someone and then like they're just like, what's your zodiac sign? It means they either like you or they don't like you. And it's like, man, you're weird. That's weird as heck. Like, oh, my zodiac sign made me say whatever I said. Like, it's not like the years of knowledge and experience living here, or like, everything I've gone through in life. It's definitely like my zodiac sign. Like, yeah, that's awful.
Yeah, stuff's terrible. I don't know. I can't trust anyone who aligns by their zodiac sign. That's the sign of a very untrustworthy individual, if you ask me.
Yeah, it's like I would never even admit to studying a subject like that hard. Some people like take it really seriously, and it's like colleges don't even offer astrology as a degree. Like you have to go to like some weird clown college to get like an astrology degree, and no one accepts it anywhere. It's like you're really gonna get behind an idea like that it's junk science. It really is. Like you have better off chance making money going through clown school. Steve went to clown school and like he's rich now. Like I could go to clown school, put staples on myself and stuff and make more money than these astrology dorks.
Yeah, same goes with like the field of philosophy. I think philosophy is one of the most useless subjects taught in college. And if you get a degree in philosophy, unless you're going to be a teacher, you won't be doing anything with that degree. That is, in my opinion, hands down the most useless degree.
I
The
like
classes that
sociology though. I wish I had gone into that. That's lit. Studying people has been fun to me.
yeah, sociology is a little bit more interesting, in a lot of ways. But
Yeah,
there's
philosophy
some
is.
of these, yeah, but some of these liberal arts, programs they offer, they're
Yeah.
useless.
You're in the College of Liberal Arts too, so I can imagine like some of the stuff you would hear in class. Like I was in the business college, so I was just hearing, the real conservative views. But yeah, I'm sure the liberal arts. Yeah.
Oh, I had to take a gender studies class my junior year, and it was awful. I was there was about 40 people in this class. I was one of 4 men in the room, and we talked about gender roles, and the professor actually tried to, she did a pretty good job educating us or educating me on some things, but a lot of girls would just share stories about whatever. And there was this one presentation this one girl did about, we're going to compare a woman boxer to a male boxer and see which one's punches harder. And she pulls up an example of sports science from ESPN where this male boxer throws a jab, and they measure like the PSI or how many pounds PSI is pounds per square inch. So they measured like the PSI of his punch. And they show the female boxer who actually winds up and does a hook, and it's so much more. And I immediately called it out like, that's flawed. It's two different types of punches. No one bought it. And then what really put me over the edge was I still stand by this to this day. Cheerleading is not a sport. And everyone in the class me after that. One girl's like, oh, football practice, I was much more tired than he was. And I was like, okay, well, he plays a much more strenuous sport than you do. Or no, sorry, so I said that wrong. She said she claims that she was more tired than he was.
Can't even like measure that.
Yeah, and I was like, he's in better shape than you are, obviously. You know, he plays a more strenuous sport. You have to be conditioned to play football. You don't have to be conditioned to clap, jumping jack, you know, take the lightest girl out of the entire squad and lift her up in the air. Like that's not a sport, you know. So
yeah, I mean, like it's kind of it's athletics though. Like, so I can see it there. Like, it's not really. I guess there are competitions. It's kind of a sport. It's kind of a sport just because it's athletic. But at the same time, like the only reason I wish I would have did athletics back in the day so I could get a scholarship. Like, these people got like, you know, scholarships to college and stuff, to D1 colleges. So, you know, she didn't. She went to a D2 college. But like, yeah, like,
yeah. But,
I mean, at least
even that, you know, these cheerleading competitions, it's so professional wrestling, the WWE, that takes a ton of athletic ability. Is it a sport? No, it's sports entertainment. It's a show that they're putting on, you know. And there you can think of several examples that where you have to be in somewhat decent shape to perform your job. Firefighters have to, you know, be able to run 3 miles, and the entire time they're running 3 miles, be able to hold a conversation. That takes a lot of endurance to do. That's a sport, you know. Is firefighting a sport? No, it's a duty. So, and then I had someone tell me like, oh, it's on ESPN. And I was like, well, marching band is on ESPN. The spelling bee is on ESPN. Are those sports now? So, I don't know. That's my whole take on the liberal arts thing. And I realized that colleges in general really promote that liberal way of thinking, which isn't bad, but there's sometimes a bit over the top with it. So that's why
people think like because they have a degree they can speak on any subject. Like, all right, those first 2 years of college are where you get most of your knowledge, unless it's like your specific fields. You learn like, you know, about your specific field in the last 2 years you're there. So like, unless you took a class during your first 2 years, because you have a degree, I don't really care. Like, have you ever taken any course on it? And like, yeah, a lot of people are. I guess another thing, like, people will claim that they read and stuff like that, and then like, I'm talking to you right now. I can tell that you don't read. Like, you're not well read. And then like you ask them like, you know, give a synopsis of this book you claimed you read. So I actually read that book. And then like I had this guy one time, like he like sent me a description of the book. I'm just like, I sent him the Google screenshot of the description, like, dog, it took me 15 seconds to find where you got this. Like, and you're really gonna try and roll with that. Like, you really want to sell that you read books, like read books, and like that'll sell it. But, you know, watch TV, watch Netflix all day, but want to act intellectual. Doesn't work that way. Not over here.
I never understood that way of thinking either. And I think everyone bullshits when it comes to that sort of thing. So yeah. I don't believe anyone.
Yeah.
They claim to be a subject on the matter. I actually look at their credentials, and you know, if someone is a professor in a field of study and gives me a lecture on it, okay, I'll actually listen because I have some sort of inclination that this person knows what they're talking about.
Yeah, or at least like they're down the road from it, or like, you know, they know at least a little bit, whether by, you know, professional experience or personal experience. But like, if you're just hearing about the thing today, which is another thing that I don't like about cancel culture, you just heard about this today and already given your opinion on it, and you want to be, you know, towards the left, towards the right, whatever bias you want to give. and like you don't even know the facts yet. The facts aren't even out yet, and you're given like, what aboutisms always like, oh well, what about the guns in Chicago? Like what's that have to do with this right now? Like what about they're still talking about Colin Kaepernick still. Like what aboutisms are always like the weird thing. Like this has nothing to do with the argument. You just want to talk the talk and you want to be right to be right to be right. But I mean, you've never given any facts or statistics that actually matter to the issue on hand.
Yeah, and everyone wants to be a part of the conversation.
Yeah.
They don't want to be missing out on anything. Like back when Nipsey Hussle died, someone that I know from back home said, I never listened to Nipsey Hussle's music, but I can't help but feel sadness about it. I'm like, shut up. Like, you just admitted you don't know anything about this guy, and now that he's dead, you want to be a part of the conversation. Just hush.
Yeah, like you're harming yourself more than anything if you're trying to be a bleeding heart for everything that you see in the news. Like I cannot care about everything that goes on in the world. I mean, at the end of the day, humans are in competition to spread our genes and get your family line going and blah 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 blah. So I hear about something that goes on, over in another country. Like, yeah, it's sad if it's a big thing or it's like a location I've been or something. If I have some connection to it, it might affect me more. But if I really don't have any connection to it or know anybody has any connection to it, then I don't need to worry myself with trying to feel some type of way about it. Like besides empathy and sympathy, whichever one, like, empathize with them or sympathize with them. Like, yeah, that's it. Like, what was it? Kony 2012. That was they never caught Joseph Kony, number one, and like they were doing the most, like just rallies and stuff and random states. Like I don't know how that blew up that big. Like it was just a viral video.
So if you actually look into what happened after the video got released, it was absolutely a disaster because the guy who created it, I forgot what the guy's name was, something Russell. He apparently had like a manic breakdown or whatever and was in some Southern California city.
Yeah, I think it was in San Francisco or something, wasn't he?
Yeah, naked in the streets, like public masturbation. Like the dude was a nut job. And even on top of that, there's been people who were interviewed saying, Joseph Kony hasn't been seen in over 7 years. He might not even be alive. But it's crazy to think how that one idea sparked this huge thing about, child soldiers, we need to make this person famous and stop him. And what happened there? The guy who created it proved to be a nut job. No one knows where Joseph Kony's at, even if he's alive.
Yeah.
So, yeah, people who actually bought into that crap and thought they were making a difference, I feel sorry for you.
Yeah, probably sent money places. I saw people like they were like riding on their window. I remember like one time we were sitting in our dorm room and someone knocked on the door and was like, "You want to come to this rally? Like, what is this rally gonna do? Honestly." But hey, everybody wants to
stand around and feel like they belong to something, and then you go home.
Yeah. And then go home and like, talk about him like, hey, today I did this and I saved the world. Like, nah. And it's gone on a global scale now. When something happens, they want to get there. Like people going to a BLM protest, taking a picture and leaving. Like, come on, man. It's out of pocket. And then like they were defending themselves. Like she was like Russian or something. So at first she was like, nah, like I'm not from here. But you knew what you're doing when you took a picture and left and then posted it like you didn't. Yeah. And like they caught you in 4K basically. And then like she was like, well, people have been sending me threats and stuff. And like, yeah, that's bad, but you can't use that as an excuse. Like you cannot use that as an excuse. Like, no, like you did do something horrible. You need to acknowledge that, like, and not try to attack like people because you attack back. If you attack back, then it just makes it worse. It snowballs it.
Yeah, I don't even know what a Russian person would be doing at a BLM protest. I don't think
they moved to California to influence, basically.
Yeah, but nothing gone on in their lives would have anything to do with the civil issues faced in America.
Yeah.
So
Probably have
isn't
never really
nice.
met too many Black Americans and stuff like that, and just clouts everything for these people.
Yeah,
Clouts a thing.
that's ridiculous. I mean, you know, when I grew up, I actually had and I've actually witnessed, some of my friends who were black who were treated misfairly by teachers and other adults. I haven't seen any case of police brutality with my own
Man,
eyes.
remember that time I didn't get patted down when we got pulled over in Bloomington? No, I was the one that got patted down. I was the only one.
Yeah, yeah, that was. I don't know why they patted you down. I don't even remember that.
Yeah,
I remember that it happened, but I don't remember you getting patted down. That
yeah,
was a crazy night. I don't know if I want to talk about that one because
yeah.
I don't want to admit to anything. But yeah,
Yeah,
I had no idea
they
that even
like
happened.
they patted me down. They just kind of let y'all go, but it's whatever because we got away from it. But yeah, I mean, I've had that happen like my whole life, like even on like both sides. So like whether it was like from Black people treating a Black man differently or like a white person treating a Black man. Like I had a incident in middle school where two of my friends they're play fighting or whatever, two white guys. And then like someone came over and they broke it up and like everybody was just like, no, they were play fighting. It wasn't a serious fight. And that was like the investigation. It was like should have been over there. But they called us in for witnesses and stuff. And they were really trying to, it was like two Black women. They were trying to like press the issue really hard and like, no, like they're play fighting. Like there's no issue there. Maybe it got too rough, but like, yeah, they're good friends, still are probably. But anyway, uh then like eventually like they were just like, you sure? Would they defend you and close the door and like little Black boy like whoa like all right, like you're trying to push like that, you're trying to at a young age trying to influence me to like think that everybody's against me, which that's not good. It's not good at all.
Wow, that's terrible. What the hell?
Yeah, that happens all the time. Like there's ideas in the Black community that they think like everybody should do it. Like if like they always ask me like, Dion, do you date white women? And like, yeah, here and there. And they're like, why? And all this stuff. I'm like, well, why isn't it an issue? That shouldn't be an issue. And like it makes it bad to even make it an issue. But yeah, like
Yeah,
I just blocked some dude for that. It's like he kept like saying stuff to me about it. And eventually I'm like, all right, you really mean this, don't you? Like you really think badly of me. So I was like, all right, you just need to go. Like we don't need to speak anymore if it's such an issue. Like it doesn't make me any less or more of a person, but like whatever you want to bring to the table about it, like that's on you. So like, yeah, go deal with that somewhere.
yeah, that's screwed up. And I'm further now realizing that one thing that I think every white person, if they don't know how to realize this now, they should, is we can never 100% understand the struggles that any minority ever goes through,
Yeah.
no matter what. You can lecture me for 3 hours straight. I
Yeah,
will
and I think like a lot of us need to
never truly
admit that
realize the impact.
we were
And
born in a
oh,
time that like, we still do see some racist stuff, but like racism was so deeply ingrained in society and like, 70, 80 years ago, American society so deeply ingrained that some people didn't even know they were racist. It was just like how they were raised or whatever. Like
yeah,
they may not have attacked people or like done things that were like malicious, but they just like think certain ways about certain people. So like yeah, and all ethnic backgrounds in America, like if you go back like people's grandparents and stuff, like they'll be completely nice and then like just say something that's like whoa, that's kind of out of pocket now, like especially as we move forward, progress. Like yeah, it's like me. Of course, I ran into racism in Indiana. I ran into like we'd be cracking jokes in class, and that was just the thing. Like that would happen. But then like as we get older and stuff, now it's like all right, yeah, we're adults. That's probably not cool to say anymore. You know.
yeah.
But yeah, that was the nature of the day, and I don't think badly about anybody that I meet today. Like oh, this person be racist up front. Like I was just in uh, Florida, Bama, as they call it, and you know I hear a southern accent or whatever, I'm just like still talking like normal. They're still talking to me like we're cool. I was in a southern country bar, and you think like, all right, this might not be the place for me to step through, and maybe it wouldn't have been 50, 60 years ago, but uh, there's not that much hate in a lot of people's heart, and if there is, like they probably won't say it. It's like I noticed that some people they'll switch up when they talk to me, so they're like, "What's up, man? What's up, man? What's up, brother?" And that's one thing that I noticed. Like sometimes the guy would be like, I was at B Dubs, just eating by myself, and this dude was calling me brother every other sentence. And I was like, man, like I wrote brother on the receipt because I'm like, bro, like I obviously know that you're calling me brother because like you see a black man, like so you think for some reason I don't know what it is, but like man, do people call me brother all the time? Like, and it's the weirdest thing.
Yeah, that sounds weird. Just
It's a
see, that's
switch.
another
It
thing.
it lets me know that like yeah, like you changed up. Sorry, I'm gonna let you get, but it lets me know
Yeah.
like you changed up because you saw a black guy. Like you shouldn't talk to someone differently on first impression, especially when they notice it.
Yeah, and see, that's another thing I feel like white people truly can never. It's going to take so long for us to figure out because we'll never understand things from the other side's perspective. Just we won't. Not now. Hopefully that will change one day, but it's going to be so hard for white people to figure out what it's like to be a minority.
Yeah.
And now that I've thought about it sometime, I kind of want to go to a different country, where, and I don't know what country that would be, probably where the predominant race is not white, and try to experience what it's like to, you know,
Just go
not
to
be a
Atlanta.
white man in America. Or hey,
Oh.
well, hey, I not in America. I want to go to another country and
Mm.
experience what that's like.
Yeah, I
If I
mean,
feel uncomfortable, that'll probably give me some inclination. Oh, okay, this is a new feeling. What the hell is this? So it just
yeah.
helped me gain perspective, I think.
I mean, in other countries where I've been to is obviously like usually pretty military heavy there, but they usually like me over there. It's pretty chill. But there were some places in Korea where they just like would actually had that in Germany too, where they just like didn't even like they just look at me and just nope, just no words. I'm like, all right, yeah, let me just back out of here. I'm gone. Like, and that's I guess like I'm in their country. That's how they want to run business. I'm out. I just leave. Like I don't screw it. It's not worth like arguing about. Like if they're gonna be that way, whatever. Can still find a
So
good night somewhere else.
yeah, so when you traveled to other countries, did you ever experience being treated like differently other than like in Germany, for example, or was it just a simple matter of them just staring at you and just saying, "Nah, no, thank you."
Nah, people in Germany were honestly pretty cool most of the time, and they knew English. Yeah, like it was good trip, good experience. But like, yeah, it was one place where it's like, nah, and I'm like, okay, cool. But nah, I went to a German club, like people are like dancing around me and stuff like that. So it's like, all right, they're interested in at least, interacting with me there. Uh, and we are in like a small German town, so people are just like, why are you here and what are you doing? And they're cool. They weren't, they're just interested in, a new traveler, They're not looking at me for whatever reason. They're just interested in new travelers. So that's cool. Uh, Korea sees a lot of people who are of color, so I think they're good. Like, but I'm sure if you went to um, maybe some African countries, some Asian countries, you could definitely be a big minority there.
So my sister went to Africa back in 2012, and she loved it there. I think she went to Uganda. She saw.
Did she take a picture with all the black kids?
Yes.
That's messed up. I'm not gonna lie.
Oh,
They don't even be interacting with all those kids. I'm just spitballing this one here. But like,
well,
they'd be
no,
like,
well, no,
oh, they're like, how many of these kids can I get in the picture? Like, you come here, and then
well, no.
just get them on the picture.
So I guess in I don't know what language they speak over there, but when they refer to white person as a bruni, so you'd see a bunch of little children running around just pointing at these white people, going a bruni, a bruni. So there was some interaction there prior to, and she didn't get a picture taken with like 50 kids, just one huge selfie or anything like that. I forgot what she went over there for, but she mainly went to, you know, see like wild elephants, crocodiles, nature and all that sort of thing. So it wasn't doing any humanitarian work,
Yeah, they
getting a
always do
picture
that.
taken to make, yeah, getting a picture to make it look like she's doing something important. Um, but she definitely interacted with them, and then the freaking vehicle they were on, which was some old rundown minivan that was a bus. That had a special term for it as well. So they interacted with the town folk and all that. So, but yeah, I agree. If you're just going over there and just taking pictures with however many just to show off, I think that's a little messed up as well.
It's a little good that they go over there. It helps. Like there's also stories like in the Middle East, people like throwing stuff off the tanks and stuff, like throwing water bottles at kids and stuff like that. Like, there's some crazy dudes that join the military and just like they'll be bragging about like, bro, man, like that's definitely not cool, buddy. Like I don't know why you think that's even something to say to people.
Yeah, and isn't it certain branches of the military that are a little bit more trite like that in their behavior? Like, isn't the Army like that?
You probably cast it with Army or Marines, but you get crazy people in every branch. Like we had a guy who was like, his room was right next to the bathroom, but he was peeing in bottles, and like then he got sent home for a kidney issue because of course he was drinking so much soda and eating so much cake that like he messed himself up. And then like they went to go clean his room and he was peeing in bottles, just left all the pee bottles there for everybody to discover.
Oh God.
He was weird too, because like he told us that he was like he won like a large amount of money in like this game in a tournament. And he's like, I didn't come in first place, I came in third. I'm like, bro, like we could look that up. So I went to go look it up. And of course there was no tournament giving out $1 million as the third place prize. Like, what are you talking about, buddy? But man, did he try a cap?
Oh man, you meet some interesting people in the military. So, who is the most interesting person you met in the military? Most interesting character?
Probably the dude slashing tires after a girl broke up with him after dating for 4 weeks.
Oh, that was it. Just the guy you met last week. He takes the cake.
I mean, recency bias is a thing, but like, I mean, I've seen some stuff. Lots of pathological liars. Just anybody who lies about being rich and then they're actually not is just the weak. Like, rich people don't typically join the military, so it's like you're telling me you're rich and then like your lifestyle and stuff doesn't, portray that. There was like, just weird dudes who joined at 18, so they never really had socialization. And then like they turn 21 and come out to the bars, and it's like, man, like you don't know what you're doing at all when talking to people or anything like that. So it's just like they pop up, just start saying weird stuff from like, whatever movies or something they've been watching about alcohol and partying. And it's like, dude, just act normal, man. Just have a normal conversation. You'll be fine. But instead, like they're just embarrassing themselves, and it's like there's like a whole organization of these dudes.
Wow, it's crazy.
Yeah, it's bad. It's bad out there to be 18 and just be stuck on base for like 2 years, and then just hanging out with dudes all day. You're gonna act like those dudes and only those dudes, And you're not going to act like anybody else. Like you really need to get out and socialize with civilians, I guess.
Yeah.
I mean, I had fun in Pensacola. It was 95% military. It was hard to find someone who wasn't military. Like someone walked up to me and was like, were you stationed in Vegas? I'm like, yeah. They're like, I was there too. Like, dang, small world.
Well, yeah, I had a few customers that were stationed in Vegas at the Air Force Base. I was almost inclined to ask them, hey, Dion, but I was like, probably, I thought that'd be a little weird. But hey, you might be a famous guy at what is it, McCarran Air Force Base? No, that's the airport. I'm wrong.
You said McCarran Air Force Base. Ha ha ha. Let's not name bases. Nope.
All right.
Nope.
I don't know.
Yeah. Anyway, like yeah, McCarran International Airport just came through there. I had to run through my connecting flight. My flight landed at like 2 no. So I think it landed at like 1:50, and then I had to get through the Houston airport in like 15 minutes. I was sprinting in my Coogee flip flops through the airport. It was crazy. And then like they sent me when how like they have those trams that take you from terminal to terminal. So I get on that terminal or that tram, and I'm just standing there. I look at my phone. They're like, "We're holding the plane for a couple minutes for you." So I'm like, "Okay, at least they're aware that we're going to be sprinting from one flight to the other." But man, I still had to sprint. I barely made it. I was
Oh,
stressed as
damn.
heck. I'm not trying to get left in any airport in any city.
That's why I don't do layover flights. I've only did one, and I had like a layover flight in Texas at one point, but my connecting flight wasn't for like another hour. So I've been to Texas for a total of 2 hours and
Yeah.
haven't seen anything outside the airport. So, but no, I can't do those connecting flights, man. That's my worst
Yeah,
nightmare.
I'd
Getting
rather a
stuck in
long.
a
I didn't
city.
even notice it like until like I was getting on a plane. I was like, hey, like I can't even check this bag. Like, let me just get on. And she was like, who booked this ticket for you? Like, why is that a question? Like, everybody books their ticket on the internet. What are you talking about? Who booked this ticket for you? Like, me? I don't know. I was confused. I was
Yeah,
like, this.
that doesn't make any sense. I thought that when you have a connecting flight, your bags go to your destination.
So
Like,
I was
fuck the flight.
carrying like a check bag and a carry on, but like the flight from Houston to Pensacola was so tiny. It's like a little plane. Like there's like 2 seats on this side and 1 seat on this side. That tiny. They're like you can't even, you gate check it. So like they bring like this case outside the gate of the plane and you pick up your stuff there. So like I was like, bro, I'm gonna go to the bathroom real quick and then come back. The bathroom was so far away too that like I was like, ah, crap. So I just turned around and I saw people like getting their bags. They had already locked the door too. So I was like, hey, bro, my bag's out there. So he had to open the door, grabbed it because they within like 2 minutes. I went to the bathroom, didn't even make it, turned around. They were already trying to lock the door. So I was like, got that, and I took off. I was dipping, boy. I was going like 8.8 second 40-yard dash down the airport, and my Coogi flip flops just pitter patter, you know. And then yeah, I made it. I was not losing. I had to pee so bad by the time I got on that plane.
Yeah, man, I ain't doing those connecting flights. I do the one way.
It's
I
a
know it's a
L.
lot. I know it's a lot cheaper to fly connecting flights, but I can't do
Nah,
it, man.
it's just I had to do it to get into the airport. So at any time I'm trying to fly directly there, but yeah, I had to do it to. There were short flights too, like from Houston to Vegas. It's not a long flight, but I hate when I have to use the bathroom on an airplane. Like that's the worst thing is like getting up, walking all the way back there to a small bathroom and like no arm room. Can't do it. You ever
Yeah,
pooped on
man.
a plane?
I have not.
I had to
I
this time,
tend to
bro.
prepare. I tend to prepare myself before I
Yeah,
step on a
man.
flight. I use the bathroom. I make sure I've ate something. So I don't know. I try
United
to
was giving
prepare
out
for it.
pretzels, so very good. But yeah, man, I had to take that L this time.
What was that like? I mean, was it easy to concentrate and relax, or
Man, number one, I got a real question for you because like I don't, but like, do you ever poop with headphones in?
typically no?
Have you ever?
I don't remember. I might have, but I don't.
Nah,
I can't recall
I
the
can't
time.
do it. Like I when I go to the gym, like I gotta turn all that off. Like I be, you know, that's a most vulnerable moment. Like I might even pee with headphones, and not usually, but like if I'm like sitting there with my pants down, like no, like I need all my senses heightened. So I'm just sitting there, you know, at the door, just I mean, I've had to go in bathrooms where there's like no stall door, like the stall door is closed. You gotta hold it closed with your foot. Like you gotta do everything, man. I'll never be defenseless while I'm pooping. I'm
Yeah,
ready.
that is your most vulnerable position because dogs will look at their owners in the eyes when they drop a deuce because they trust you more than anything.
That really is. It's a vulnerable moment. Like look at Steven over here sleeping. He's in the
Yeah,
background, just splooted out.
yeah. Mine's asleep too, except he's on the couch cushion here. So
You mean Leo?
no, my cat Magic. Leo's back in Indy. I just have my cat here. I don't
Dang,
have a
bro.
dog yet.
Oh yeah, Leo is that angry dog.
Yeah, he's kind of violent. He bites people if you come up on him unprovoked. So
Yeah, I'm good on that. I'm not trying to meet Leo. Every time I saw him, I was like, nah, fam.
yeah, I see. I kind of grew up where my father never he didn't own a gun because he figured, well, if I just lock my doors and have a watchdog, no one will ever try to break into my house. And you know, my current dog turned into a real aggressive a hole where if you step on the property, he doesn't know you. He's gonna bite you. I actually had a buddy come. One of my childhood friends actually come over to my house back in like 2016, and my dog didn't recognize him. I let my dog go. Regretfully, I should not have made this mistake. Ran up, bit my friend in the leg. He was bleeding. I was like, "You've got to be kidding me! That terrible dog." So
Yeah, man. Like dogs like that are just they're not great to be around, to be honest. Like any dog, I don't like big dogs as it is. So yeah, they got an issue too, man. Anywho, we've been
yeah,
on for about 2 hours, so let's get some final thoughts in because I honestly could use a pee right now.
me too. I'm getting sleepy as well.
Yeah,
So
it's 10:17, man. That's too late for my blood.
well, final thoughts are vaccines are coming around, and from what I've been reading nationwide, I think by the summertime, most businesses are going to open back up entirely because
Yeah.
governments are basically going to tell the people you have access to the vaccine, you have your masks, you can stay home, do as you please. So
Yeah, and that's where we
personally,
need to be.
I'm just hoping to get my J&J vaccine, one and done. And I just want it because I want to travel and go places and do whatever and not worry about catching COVID because I've avoided it so far, knock on wood. And yeah, I just kind of want things to get back to normal. I'm over quarantine.
I miss concerts, man. I miss going to festivals.
Oh,
There's a lot that I miss that's like I mean, Florida was cool because I accidentally walked in a gas station without a mask and like no one was wearing a mask. No one's wearing a mask in the gym. They just decided to disregard it and they shut down Miami because of COVID. But no, they shut down Miami because it's just pure chaos down there. But yeah, Florida just kept it going and they're booming. But I mean, it's been over a year. Sad that uh, a lot of lives were lost, and this pandemic came up out of nowhere. I'm glad the vaccines.
it
No one knew how
literally
long.
caught everyone. Literally
Yeah,
caught everyone off guard.
no one knew like that. Knew how long the vaccine was going to take. So I'm glad we got there, and hopefully we can get back to normal here soon. Because man, I'm tired of sitting at home all the time, just like what do I do? Talk to myself, or else I don't talk to anybody all day some days. So yeah, it's weird.
Yeah, and working out with the mask on is pretty awful. In all seriousness, like I can't do cardio. I
Yeah.
can't run because if you're just breathing, you have that hot air blown into your mask and you immediately inhale it. So that's been pretty terrible. I absolutely miss going to concerts. Like, you know, here in Colorado, I have a big name artist coming through a few times a month. And when I first moved here, I couldn't afford to go all the time. Now that I can finally afford it,
Yeah.
COVID. See, I'm definitely looking forward to concerts again. I hope EDC probably won't happen this year, but if it happens in 2022,
They're saying Life
I
is
plan
Beautiful
on
is going to
going.
happen this year if you're trying to go to that. But it's not.
Well,
I mean, there is some electronic music, but they usually have like Billie Eilish and Post Malone there.
it might be worth
There is an
going.
EDM stage. Yeah, look it up. Life is Beautiful, Vegas. But yeah, Anna's gonna end like all the mask shamers of people are just like, "Where's your mask?" and like commenting on pictures and stuff. Like, man, mind your business, buddy. Like you again, like with people like you know not living in a certain location, you're trying to mask police. Like, you really need to find something to do that's constructive with your time. Like, I wear my mask and stuff, but like, I saw someone like, if you take a picture with the mask off, like, COVID doesn't stop. But then, like, you go to their profile, it's like, you have a picture with the mask off, or like, they'll be like, my friends over here, but we heavily vetted each other before. Don't hang out with people during quarantine. Like, how'd you heavily vet each other? Please tell me. Because you both probably lied about who you've been around. Like, you just don't know who this person's been around. Talking about we heavily vetted each other. Like, your friend came over to do TikToks. Like, I doubt you guys heavily vetted each other. Like,
Yeah,
anywho, that's my rant on TikTok.
Yeah, that whole vetting thing is complete BS.
Yeah.
You know, a group of my friends had an outbreak back last week. No, sorry, second week of January. You know, we all thought, hey, we're not hanging around. You know, a lot of people outside of us. We should be all fine. You know, there was about 10 of us hanging out. Next morning, one of them sends in our group chat, "Hey guys, I woke up feeling terrible. I tested positive for the Rona." And turns out about half the people that we were hanging out with all got it. So
you got a group chat with 10 people. That's awful.
Well, there's more than 10 people in the group chat, but 10 of us from the group chat were there.
Now it's your Magic the Gathering gang.
Yeah, bro. We play every
your
Sunday.
Uno gang. Yeah, because you skipped the podcast that we were supposed to have yesterday. Yeah, you do play every Sunday.
Yeah, bro. It's pretty intense, but I have a couple of group chats I'm in. You know, one of them is just 4 people. It's pretty fun. You know, how many group chats are you in?
0.
Oh, well, you should get a group chat started. You know, if you can find a third, we'll get one started.
Get your boy DeMarcus in there.
Yeah, I'm gonna take a hard pass on that. I couldn't care what that guy's up to nowadays.
Well, I think with that we can sign off, and that's our show.
That's a good one. Good one to end it on.
It's a good one. Just like, yeah, we don't like that guy anymore. Who is that? I don't know. Thanks for listening this far. If you got this far, hello to that kitty, and we're done.
It's been a pleasure.